Hello everybody, welcome to your channel Full Stack Developer, the channel that will boost your productivity as a full stack developer. We as developers, we must pay attention to performance, and time is the most important criterion that must be treated carefully. This can result in the code in executing operations in parallel, instead of executing them one after another. In this video we are going to see when it's possible to execute operations in parallel and how we can do it in two languages, C# and TypeScript. Here we have an example of calculating the employee's salary and then edit their salary statements. If we want to calculate the salary of each employee and then send the salary statement to the accountant to correct them, we have to do this as fast as possible to pay the employees in time. So if we do this in a synchronous way, here's how it will be. We calculate the salary of the first employee, we edit his salary statement, and then we start with the second one, and then with the third, and finally with the last. Each operation takes time because the salary service will do a lot of operations and maybe call other services to calculate the salary. So if we have 3000 employees, for example, this can take a lot of time. That's why we have to parallelize these operations like this. We can start calculating the salary of the first employee, but we don't have to wait until it's finished to start calculating the salary of the second, and so on for the rest of employees. This can save us a lot of time, especially if we have many employees. Let's do this in code and see what happens. Let's begin with C#. To explain the concept very fast, I have prepared this code. So here we see that we have a class called product because we are going to call a dummy API which returns products per ID. Here on the program I have created our HTTP client just on static for demonstration. And here I have two methods. The first method will be getFirstProduct, which will just fetch the first product here and we will display its title, and then the second method will just fetch the second product, which will have the ID 2, and then we will display also its title. So here I have just initiated a watcher, and we are going to display the execution time for each method. We're going to start with the first one. Here, let's execute the program. And as you see, we have 692 milliseconds. Let's now call the second method and execute the program again. Here we have 789 milliseconds. Let's now do this on parallel. So let's comment this code. I'm going to create a list, products. That will be a list of tasks. Here I'm going to execute the first method here, and then the second one. Let's now start these tasks. Let's see the result. And here, as you see, we have 685 milliseconds. We have not gained a lot, of course, because we have only two methods. Let's now increase the number of methods. Let's command the parallel mode. I will duplicate this part 5 times and execute the program. Here we have barely 2 seconds. Let's now do this on parallel. And we will see the difference. Here, as you see, we have only 697 milliseconds for the 10 methods, and in synchronous mode we have done it in 2 seconds. So we have gained barely 4 times the loading speed. Let's do the same thing on TypeScript. So here I have just installed the node fetch model, and then I have created a function called main, which would be the main function of our program. The same thing that we did on C#, I have declared two functions. The first function will just fetch the first product, and the second function will fetch the second product. So here I have set a timer, and we are going to see what will happen. So now I will just call the two functions in the main. So here I'll just call await, and then the second function. Let's execute this, and here, as you see, we have 960 milliseconds. Let's now execute the two functions in parallel and use promise all. Let's now pass an array which will have the execution of the two promises. And comment this part. Let's now see the result. Here we have 527 milliseconds. We have gained almost 400 milliseconds. Let's now increment the number of our calls. Let's duplicate these two functions 5 times. Let's now execute the program in a synchronous way. Here you see the results, and there we have 4 seconds. Let's now do the same thing on parallel. So I'm just going to do this. And execute the program. And here, as you see, we have loaded all the products in barely 600 milliseconds, while we have done it in 4 seconds in a synchronous way. So I hope that you liked this video. See you in the next ones. Ciao.